Shout out to Who Hames giving me the inspiration to actually wake up in the morning and do this, like I said I was going to do for a while now. Welcome into Best Ball on Call. Early morning edition. We're up with the birds today. 6 a.m. local time here, 3 a.m. if you're on the West Coast. Nice and early for you today. We're going to run the Poodle drafts on Underdog. At least one of them, possibly more. We'll see what kind of time I got. I've got the day off work, so I might be able to take you all the way up to Mr. Chad Candles if we can get some people in here to fill these. As per the thumbnail, I suppose we're going to run a Poodle first. 20 seconds only. I'm not waiting around 8 hours to do one. Advancement rate in these 2 of 12, 1 of 6, 1 of 5, 3 10 seat final. So actually pretty good advance rates. And if you can build solid teams, you can get through. Let's see, 310 seat final. So if you make the finals, you're looking at $300. If you can get to the semis, $80. If you advance out of your pod, you get your money back. So not the worst odds ever. Good odds to actually have decent ROI. I'm going to enter now. Anyone that's watching would like to join, you're free to do so. Fresh room here. Hope I didn't rug pull anyone that was watching. I don't know if anyone was yet. That'd be awful if it did happen. Apologies if I did. Usually try to not make that happen, but you know how playing the numbers game can go. You're a victim to however the rooms fall at whatever time it happens. Not sure why sometimes when I'm hardwired, it says that my connection quality is sketchy. So we'll see what's up with that. Waiting on 10 for a Poodle. These could take a little minute. I'll try and fill the void with some quality content while I can. Not the easiest thing this early. I guess I go over some of my exposures while I'm here. As far as I haven't uploaded in a minute. This was 40 post draft contests, and I'm pretty sure Who Hames would like seeing this. Top exposures: Adam Thielen, Cam Scadabo. Thielen at 32%. I've just been hammering him down there. Probably going to lay off him again for a while. 32 is a bit much. But Pat Bryant at 25, I'm in lockstep there. I knew when Who Hames was talking about that yesterday. Mike Evans, feel like he's a good pick in that range. Rico Dowdle, just because I feel like Carolina running game is probably going to be pretty split. Not necessarily 1A, 1B, but I think Rico's going to they might want to take some of that workload off Chuba. You still got Jonathan Brooks, probably going to not be playing this year, so you might want to keep a couple of them fresh for the year after. How soon can we get a Poodle to fill? I could go post something else, but I mean, it's early in the morning. Might not even be a lot of people up yet. Eventually, it'll get there. You can see 20% Justin Jefferson, and these are all the post-draft tournaments, so I've been running a little hot on him. Everyone else is pretty – Puka's a little bit more than the field. I mean, obviously, Jamar Chase, if you don't get the 101, you're probably not getting him. So 5%, I guess, is just the nature of how many 101s I've had. Just kind of looking through what 17.5 on Nico Collins, 10 on Amon-Ra, 20 on BTJ, 15% Drake London, just over the field on Henry. AJB's the one him and Brock Bowers, the two that I'm probably going to start hammering in that range just because I'm lower. Like, I mean, it comes from somewhere. If you're going to start taking some, Lad is the one I've just been missing a lot of time in this range. Don't know how I feel about that. Probably something I should be maybe pulling up more, maybe pull him all the way up to stack with Nico sometimes if I get him at the turn. I know that seems a bit rich, but you'll never do it if you don't. The other contests that we still have Schnauzer 2s. That's actually, I'm probably going to run some of those today, 94.3. But that's going to fill today, I would think. I've still got my Greyhound. Can do that at some point in time later today. 20 entry max on the Poodle. Single entry Corgi, that's a $5 one. You got to make the finals to get your money back. Pitbull's a good price point too. I feel like 20 bucks 10 entry max, so $200 to max contest. Still got super flex puppies too. I haven't done a lot of those. I only did one. I was messing around with the other contests more than anything else. 3 of 12 for the Poodle. How soon will we get to fill one of these? I mean, it is a time where people are just going to start waking up too. I don't even have any slows where I'm on the clock right now that I can go to. That's what sucks. So I guess we'll be a little patient here and see who files in. I guess what I could do is start posting these the night before. That's probably what I'll do is post them the night before, and that way anybody that sees it that's awake, that way I think it'll work. If you go down here, you can see some of the teams. Some bad CLVs. There's some good CLV values. There was a fast puppy from the 28th of April. CJ Stroud and Michael Penix. Good CLV on the running backs, huh? Good CLV all the way around, actually. Pat Bryan at 214. That seems pretty good. Jalen Noel hasn't moved a lot. Higgins has gone up 20 spots. Mooney, Judy, Metcalf, Higgins. Good CLV on everything other than the tight ends there, but they really haven't moved much. Tyler Warren's gone down some, and Njoku stayed about the same. So that's actually a good CLV team right there. We're only waiting on 8 now. Creeping and crawling up to actually starting this thing. Suppose with these newer contests, some people, there's some people with the entry rate, some people might have maxed these already too. Suppose that's a possibility. We'll wait it out though. I don't have anything to do. I got to go to Lowe's and do some stuff around the house. Not in a hurry to get to work today, so it's not a big deal. I'll sit around and wait for it. I don't think I posted this. I don't think I'm live on Twitter. I think it was only on YouTube because I woke up late, and when I set up the stream, didn't set it up to go to Twitter as well. So I posted the link. I copied the link to Twitter because I did it late. So maybe some people will see it. I'm sure there'll be some retweets. People file in here. It is a time of day where not a lot of people are awake. That's okay. We'll wait till they are. Hopefully everybody out there is cooling off a little bit. It had been ridiculous here the last couple days. Today, I think the high is only going to be around 80. Yeah, today the high is 82. Last couple days, the high was 98, I believe, 98 and 97 back-to-back days, which I'm in Michigan, so that's not extremely common. We'll get those days in the summer, but more often than not, our hot days are 85, 90 degrees. But when you've got a bunch of lakes around, the humidity is brutal. So when it gets to 95 and the humidity is 70%, that air conditioner is working overtime and doesn't stop working most of the day. Waiting on 5 for a morning Poodle. If you've still got some left and you want to draft, we'll be doing it here for a little bit. Is that sizing a little bit better there? Probably, huh? I think that's a good spot there. Where everybody you can see a chunk of. I might actually make this overlay a little bit smaller. I think just because I could pull a little bit of this down at the bottom, make it a little bit smaller there and get a little bit more of the board. I don't think it's too bad, but if anybody watch, I guess predominantly the mobile viewers might be the ones that'd be more difficult to see. I know I guess I'd have to check the analytics and see what people are actually watching on. And I know who's watching on what and how big I need to make the overlay, right? We'll get there. You guys can help me dial this in a little bit at a time. work in progress, still fairly new to this streaming thing, and taking tips from other people out there, watching what I see other people do, and applying the things I can do. Kind of the same thing you're doing with best ball and trying to crack the code and make it a quality product for everyone. Waiting on one for a poodle, and now we're live. Get to see where we're at. Who we got in here? I guess that's going to go real quick, isn't it? Not going to be listening to that the whole time. We got anybody in here we know? I don't think there's anybody in here I know. I'm going to put one of these over here so I can watch the board. And I'll leave another one up there for the viewing audience. We'll be picking out the 4-hole today. We'll see what the room gives us. I don't think there's anybody I know in here. There's probably people I know that I just don't know what their underdog names are versus their Twitter names or whatever it is. We'll see what we can make happen. Might do a couple of these. Got a couple hours before Mr. Chad Candles comes on. See if we can get a viewing audience right up till then. Jamar Chase, Bijan Robinson goes 2. Is this guy going to take Justin Jefferson is my question. He does not. I think Justin Jefferson at 4 will be the pick. We'll do that and send it on down the room. Leave the board up so everyone watching can view along with me. Saquon Barkley at 6 seems pretty good if you get him there. Jahmyr Gibbs at 6. Saquon went 3. My bad. I didn't see that. So we're all in lockstep with ADP currently. Nothing too crazy going on as of yet. Yeah, I was wondering if he was going to take Saquon there. I'd probably take him at 4. Might take CD at 4 and even send him to 5. I think 4 is as far as I feel like pushing Saquon just with the season we just saw him have. Thinking these two with the Poodles, you might want a 310-seat final. You might want to steer more into the Week 17 correlation. Don't want to sacrifice building a good team doing it, but that could be a little more of a tiebreaker there, I guess. I feel like these picks at the turn are really good now, like 11 and 12. It's kind of where I want to be this year, I think. Because you can pair up Brian Thomas Jr. with any of the wide receivers in there. You can pull up H.N. You also have Brock Bowers in that range. You just get a good start to a team. Ashton Genty with a fall all the way into the side. That's who I was thinking was going to go up there somewhere. Running back heavy headed back down this way. Everybody grabbed a running back. Pretty consistent with ADPs and such. I mean, we are right at ADP. Nobody really doing anything egregious early in the morning. It's always interesting with these rooms early in the morning because you don't know. You get a random person, they'll just take the once their elite quarterback in the second round. A.J. Brown and Puka, J.T. and Jahmyr Gibbs. Brock Bowers with a fall all the way in the second. I could take Trey McBride there. Could also take T. Higgins. I think the fun thing to do there is push Rashee Rice right up there to 21 because I think he's going to get there. I didn't want to take him anywhere before the 2-3 turn, but I feel like you give me Justin Jefferson, Rashee Rice, I can figure out the running back thing in the next round if I want to, or just start heavy wide receivers. Everybody wanted a running back other than the guy in the 7-hole. Oh, 9-hole as well. Only 3 piss boys in the room early. I always like to take note of where the running backs are going in these contests. Mike Evans pulled up there. I could take Trey McBride. I think I will take Trey McBride there on the fall just because I get him a little past ADP. If anything, I could take Tyreek Hill in that range, maybe Chase Brown, but we'll wait and see what comes back here. We'll take Trey. So we've opened up 3 quarterbacks already. See how the room falls back to us. Might want to look at running back in the next round because it does get a little thin coming back. But it's early in the contest. We could also lean into the variance of what will happen, the uncertainty of the season. You can have some fun in these smaller contests, do some wild. Pretty good fall in Brock Bowers there to get him with CD Lamb. Not very common, I wouldn't think. He probably goes, usually CD's going to go about right here, and Brock Bowers falls somewhere in there. So a little bit of, he has been falling a little bit more, though, lately, where you can get him later in the second. Chase Brown and Brees Hall. So the running back's getting gobbled up a little bit. Nothing that crazy as of yet. Terry McLaurin falls back, so I wonder if the Jaden draft or the Terry drafter will get Jaden early here in the 4th. This is where people over here start making their decisions about elite quarterbacks, and especially when you already have running backs, you're going to have to catch up at wide receiver somewhere. Guy on the turn takes Jaden Daniels, so it doesn't even make it back to the Terry drafter. That's the stuff that's frustrating, I think, sometimes. I wonder if this guy, no, I was thinking he was going auto drafting, but the Marty and Hampton pick leads me to believe that's not the case. Okay, the running backs are drying up quick because Hampton usually falls over here. He ended up going Lamar because the 12 hole took Jaden. Let's start taking a look at what could come back here. I don't hate JMO for the week 17 correlation with Justin Jefferson. If he gets there, it would be just after ADP. If not, there's always the old faithful Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts push. I could be a little bit far from the turn to do it where someone else might stab him in there. Tet and Xavier Worthy go there. So I know that the Xavier Worthy drafter's in the 8 hole. Jameson Williams would be my pick if he falls one more. Who's this guy got? CeeDee Lamb. He goes Pickens. Okay, so he goes for the double. Dallas State. I think I'm going to take JMO here. Gives me a solid 3 wide receivers, or solid 2 and a good spike week guy and a solid tight end. Opens up all my quarterbacks later. JMO versus Travis Hunter is kind of an interesting debate right there, isn't it? I feel like you could go either one there, and they're both viable picks. I think this whole corner right here has gotten interesting too because Devontae Smith and Hurts make it all the way over there. I wonder if this guy does it here. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. But do you really want to go Hurts with those two? I think you almost got to push it and try and get Burrow back. RJ Harvey gives me a bring back and a decent running back if he's there for the Rashee Rice. I kind of don't hate that. I could take Travis Hunter as well. Think RJ Harvey just because I have a bring back already with Rashee will be the pick there. Yeah, not too worried about the J.K. Dobbins stuff as of yet. Yeah, they're going to be a split backfield, but we would think it's going to be a good backfield, so they're both going to score points. Guy here in the fifth takes Jalen Hurts. I thought about taking him unstacked. Bunch of ways I can play this team out, though. Let's just look and see where they're falling. Knicks. Kyler would probably be the first two that we'd be thinking about. The other ones wouldn't be for a while. Maybe Mahomes. I gotta know that the worthy drafter's in the 9 hole. 8 hole. Zay Flowers and Waddle there after Jalen Hurts. I always wonder, is Denver backfield at the prices? Like, what's Dobbins? His ADP is what? 137. I don't think I would ever want to do that, even at those prices, but it's a backfield where it's worth a thought. Because you would think that they're going to be the two most prevalent pieces in that backfield. Kenneth Walker, Travion Henderson. Running backs are drying up pretty quick in this range. So I wanted to grab Harvey there because I knew I was either going to pull one of these guys up. I like the week 17 correlation there with Rashee Rice. It gives me a lot of options. This guy over here has 4 running backs, Jaden Daniels and Brian Thomas. Doubting that's Mike Leone because 2 hats, 1 Mike I don't think would draft that way. Just my thoughts. Jordan Addison, Roma Dunze, James Conner. How do we feel about what's coming back here? Montgomery also would give you another running back with what you think is a decent floor there. Quinshon Judkins, I think the right pick there is Montgomery, right at ADP, just to give me my second running back. More of a floor play than Harvey. Different bye week. I already have J-Mo in the offense. Sure, let's take Montgomery. Don't love that click this year, but with the nature of this build, how I went 3 wide receivers, tight end, then RJ Harvey, this will give me what you hope is a floor play out of Montgomery in the running back department. The guy that pushed Burrow gets him all the way back at 72. You're welcome for that. Could make a big bet on the Detroit offense here. Laporta goes there. Okay, so that was my thought. I think Matthew Golden would be the pick there. 77. Right, it's a pick above ADP. Bye week's 5. Yeah, that fits in pretty well. I'm going to take Golden. Opens me up to another quarterback there. What you think are 4 good enough receivers through 7 rounds and actually having a tight end and a running back. Also opens me up to Jordan Love. And we should be in a good quarterback pocket coming back where we can pick and choose what we want to do. Mahomes, if he makes it, will be the pick to stack with Rashee Rice, but I wasn't going to do it there. If this guy wants to take him early, the Xavier Worthy drafter, he takes Pacheco, so he's probably going to make the KC bet, I would think, and come back here and get Mahomes here. If he does, that's fine. That's why I didn't want to box myself out there at quarterback into any one thing. Middle of the room, you can kind of let the values fall to you and pick and choose what you want. In the event that what you want doesn't make it back to you, you also have other options, so it helps. On the corners is where I feel like you got to get what you're going to do to make your stack. Ibuka at 80, was it 85? Seems a bit. What's his ADP? Yeah, 95. He's a bit up on that. I thought that was high. Mahomes goes there. Figured he would there. He already had the KC bet going. The Marv drafter is on the turn, so he'd probably take Kyler there if I don't take him. I might just have to do that there. I'm going to take Kyler because the Marv drafter's over here. And if he double taps quarterback and is done, then I really put myself into a worse position. So I think I'll take Kyler there. Be Robin Charbonnet. This guy might have been going for the Kyler stack too because he had Marv. He takes Jordan Mason, which makes sense if that was going to be part of the game. Might come back here and take Bo Nix if he makes it and just be done at quarterback for a while. Their bye week split up pretty well. I've got RJ Harvey. Guy before me takes Bo Nix, so I think I'll jump Jared Goff up here. They're both week 8 bye weeks. I could have waited for Love to come all the way back, but I think I wanted the Detroit offense having JMO in my other. I could wait for JJ McCarthy too, but already having that bet in the Detroit offense. I pull up Goff some. He might have made it back, but I got to worry about the Amon-Ra St. Brown drafter over there. He also has Jordan Addison in that game, so he very well could take Goff there. I think if I pull him up here, he'd be back at the ADP next round, but I got to worry about him getting taken. I do have 2 bye week 8 quarterbacks. I didn't realize that. That's something I'll probably have to address later. What I wonder is, do I take Jordan Love here and have 3 quarterbacks? It's kind of early. I could take him coming back around at 124 and get another pick in between there if it happens. Kind of a weird way to do it, but I did wait forever on quarterback. There is a way that if I thought about it, he's week 5. Could do that and go with a 2 tight end build and just have Tucker Kraft, Jordan Love. Would have Love double stacked if I do that. Do I just stop at Jared Goff and Kyler Murray is the question. Very well could be the case. I was thinking about Evan Ingram if he made it back there. Didn't want to tip my hand. But I think, let's see, where is. Okay, so Jaden Reed drafter is to my right. Let's take Kraft and see if we can get Love to come back to us. And then I might be able to be done at tight end and take 3 quarterbacks. and then just do fun stuff the rest of the draft with wide receivers and running backs. Don't know if that's right. You're bumping them up a little bit, but I feel like Tucker Kraft's a good pick there. You're kind of just exchanging the two is what you're doing. See if I can steal 3 quarterbacks in the middle of this in rounds 8 through 11 and not fall behind at the other positions. Tyler Warren there. I'm going to take Jordan Love here and take my third quarterback. 3-2-4-2. Not normally how I build stuff, but the way it came out is kind of interesting. Definitely done at quarterback. I actually gave myself a quarterback for the week 8 that I had. I probably wouldn't have done that normally so soon, but I saw they both had week 8 buys, so it was kind of on the fly there. But we're definitely turning the quarterback button off now, and it's most likely a last round tight end throw on. If I can, it's all going to be running backs and wide receivers for a bit. Not sure if that was right, the way I played that whole sequence, but I was kind of, once I realized they both had week 8 buys, I had to see if I could cover that. I didn't necessarily need to. You might get enough points out of Kyler Murray and Goff anyway, but I figured it was a good way to make sure I advance the team. Looking at the build, we're at 3-2-4-2. Kyler Murray, Jared Goff, Jordan Love, RJ Harvey, David Montgomery, Justin Jefferson, Rashee Rice, JMO, Matthew Golden, Trey McBride, Tucker Kraft. Trey McBride stacked with Kyler Murray, Tucker Kraft, and Matthew Golden. Stacked with Jordan Love, Jared Goff, with David Montgomery, and JMO. So everybody's pretty well, the team bets are good. And I got to see if I can bring some correlation into place for maybe week 17. Things of that nature. But I'm pretty open to whatever wants to fall back to me. JJ McCarthy will be whoever wants him. I'm definitely not taking a 4th quarterback. I could have pushed it down and taken him later there because I have the Detroit bet, but I already have the quarterback in that game, so I wasn't really worried about McCarthy. I told you he was yours if you were listening. You had him in that game. I saw it going on over there the whole time. I was never touching him. Sent him your way for that reason. You're welcome. And that could be wrong with Justin Jefferson being my first round pick, but I'm already in that game with the Detroit pieces, so, and I have the quarterback, so I'm not really worried about if JJ McCarthy's if he's the guy I need and he beats me, then that was what happened. Man, Colston Loveland on quite a fall there, huh? For the 3rd tight end. Can't do that though. Marvin Mims and Jaden Blue. I think I want to take Mims there just to get another receiver in that game, just because I'm already into the Kansas City and Denver game week 17. And I feel like the rest of the Colts and Love, I mean, that's a good pick. That he took 3. I thought I had already spent enough capital where I didn't want to do that there. All the running backs I was thinking about went on the corner there. Austin Eckler could be a good chaperone at this point when I just need some solid running back points. Dubs is also there, but I've got 5 wide receiver. I think I need running back more than I need wide receiver right now. They're both by week 12, so I'm going to need some running backs to cover that later on. Not too worried about that, but Eckler down there I feel like is a good pick when I've kind of neglected the running back position for a minute. Would have liked Trey Benson to come back there for the stack, but it was pick one or the other at that point. This build will be unique for sure. I definitely don't build this way, so I was kind of doing some interesting things here, just change it up in the first Poodle draft. We got the bye weeks at quarterbacks. Really, running back is my concern. I don't dislike the wide receivers where we're at and the tight ends. I think running back probably hammering here, and then late I could tack on some correlation bringbacks for week 17. Roshan, Jaden Blue, Xavier Leggett, Cedric Tillman. I feel like it's a good pick down in this range. I do like that everyone's grabbing quarterbacks now because that's way past the point where I'm doing that. So it's good to see that these picks are getting taken where I don't need them and other stuff's getting left for me. Dubs, I probably would have taken if he made it back, but I think my Green Bay bet might be big enough where I want to make it already. Got their number one pick and the tight end that was a good portion of their pass receiving offense. Maybe tack on a Baltimore bring back late or something. I don't think I'm playing the tight end game. People do not like Tank Bigsby right now, do they? I think I'm also one of them. But man, that's a good fall. And if he's still got a piece of that offense at all, spray and pray with the Jags backfield right now, I guess. He's another week 8 bye with Montgomery, but at least I split him up. I can maybe score points there. He also has a Denver bring back week 16. Tank Bigsby does. So I guess if you're tie breaking, that can be a tie breaking mechanism. Braylon Allen was my other thought, so he was going right there. It was one of the. I just took the fall on Tank Bigsby because that's. If it's a Liam Cohen offense, we saw how Sean Tucker was. 3 backs can be viable. Do I need another running back or wide receiver? Here's the question. Should have enough points. At wide receiver, where I can take another running back. 3-5-5-2. Might be done at running back and start grabbing some wide receivers. Three picks left. This might be a 3-6-6-3. I don't usually build those, but this is kind of trending in that direction, isn't it? Makes sense for the build. We'll see how it falls, but that could be what it is. Tank Bigsby's questionable pick in there. I like the other two. We'll see how that shakes out. But I didn't really take any running backs. RJ Harvey, Montgomery in the 5th, 6th, and didn't touch it after that for a minute. Wide receivers was pretty heavy early. 3 in the first 4, 4 in the first 7 rounds. So you've got some good quality there. Don't know whether or not jumping up Jordan Love there and Tucker Kraft was right. But I saw an opportunity with Golden, figured I'd stack out the Packers that way. Nick Chubb and DJ Giddens. DJ Giddens is an interesting pick down here. Feel like he's the best contingent pick in the Indy backfield. And really, there's a couple backfields I was thinking about. They were talking about yesterday, where like Cincinnati and Indy, where we only draft 2 of their running backs. Don't think that's correct. That's why I've kind of leaned into like the Tank Bigsby a little bit more, possibly Sean Tucker at the end of drafts, just because of the way things shake out. Michael Wilson might have been a pick there for me. I do also have DeAndre Hopkins for a bring back in that game late. Savion Williams would be a fun click if I need another wide receiver. I still think that we're in running back range here. But we're not in running back range on the board. Rashard Smith's one that's kind of interesting. Justice Hill possibly in the Green Bay game. Those are both worth a thought down here. He goes Justice Hill. I might go Brashard Smith then. That's kind of early. Or just give me D Hop. I'll wait on it. That's another bring back in the Green Bay game. I've got my 6 wide receivers now. I think I'll go running back, tight end, the last 2. I believe that's how I'll close it. I think it is going to be a 3-6-6-3. Not common, but I feel like I've got good wide receivers at the top that should provide me enough spike weeks. DeAndre Hopkins, if he's a shell of himself and gives me anything. 2 good tight ends. Running backs, you're just looking for production in there is what that is. And you're hoping, in week 17, you got RJ Harvey and Rashee Rice. Keenan Allen also, I feel like, is a good pick down there where he should be worth something. As soon as he signs with a team, he's going to shoot up the boards. Jermaine Burton sighting. Dylan Sampson goes there. Do I want to take Brashard Smith here? I think he might be the best running back in that range that I like. Yeah, it's going to be him. We'll take Brashard Smith. Got some high upside running back plays out of RJ Harvey and Brashard Smith and some good floor plays across the board. Montgomery, Eckler, Dowdle, Tank Bigsby, question mark, but we'll see. Keaton Mitchell I thought about there for the bring back in the Green Bay game, but I already have DeAndre Hopkins. Kind of wanted to lean more into that KC and Denver game, even though I only have a couple pieces of it. But it gives you different ways to win that game outside of the quarterbacks. Probably a late round dart throw at tight end just to pile something on. Looks like I thought about Mason Taylor there. I didn't know if it'd be a good enough running back, and I already have my capital at tight end, so I wasn't worried about getting him. Let's see if we're going to put it. I mean, I could also go Savion Williams. What it's not going to be is a quarterback, and probably not a running back. Also have Ty Felton for the Detroit game. Cole Kmet's kind of interesting, given the Bears offense. Isaac Tesla for the bring back in the Lions game. Also have Elijah Arroyo. Have Rico Dowdle for a bring back in the Carolina game there. What do I feel like taking Savion Williams? I have 10% of him, so I've taken him quite a bit. Roman Wilson's a bring back in the Lions game, week 16. Could get a Who Hames click of MVS there on the last pick. That's also a bring back with Rico Dowdle. Do I need a 7th wide receiver? I guess is my question here. Probably wouldn't hurt. I could take Ty Felton. It's kind of interesting. I think this is where I'm between. Yeah, let's take another piece to bring back in the Detroit game. Then we've got Justin Jefferson, Ty Felton. We've got J-Mo and David Montgomery. So, yeah, we've stacked that game out a little bit more. At least another late round piece in that game. 3-6-7-2 is how we end up with the build. Kyler Murray stacked with Trey McBride. Jared Goff, David Montgomery, bet on the same offense. Jamison Williams, bringbacks in that game, Justin Jefferson and Ty Felton. Jordan Love stacked with Matthew Golden and Tucker Kraft, bringbacks in that game. DeAndre Hopkins, that was the only one. Then I also have the Kansas City and Denver game stacked out where I have Brashard Smith and RJ Harvey, Rashi Rice and Marvin Mims, just trying to get a piece of that game in week 17. 3-6-7-2. I thought it was going to be a 3-6-6-3, but I felt good enough about the tight ends where I let it ride with 2. Christian Watson sighting with the camp news that he's working out. Aaron Rodgers with the last pick in the draft. That seems good. The guy that took my Bo Nix waited all the way to the end and took Aaron Rodgers. Seems decent. Would have liked to get Bo Nix. Probably would have felt better about this team. That's the nature of having people draft right before you. And that was, oh, maybe it's not done yet. That's the Poodle. Name this before I forget. There it is, the Poodle. Yeah, I guess I should actually click on it. That would help. What is this stupid thing doing now? Every now and then my keyboard just has this thing where it decides it doesn't want to work for a minute. I always name my drafts with the date and the time they ended. I don't even worry about much else. I'll go back and look at them if something happens with them and they're interesting. And then I get an idea of what time of day I drafted the team and when in the calendar I drafted the team, so I know when I can go back there and take a look at what worked and what didn't. What's the Schnauzer 2 at? 94.3. Screw it. We'll run one of those just because A, it might fill quicker, and B, it's 94% full, so I don't know how many more of those I'll have a chance to get in. Waiting on 10 for a Schnauzer 2 now. Just because it was something else to do. If there's people in here and you actually want to run a, you know what? Should I just run a Poodle? Yeah, you know what? We're just going to go back and run another Poodle. It's the new hotness, right? And it's on the thumbnail. So I guess we'll just do that. It's filling pretty good. It might, the way it's going, it actually might fill before the Schnauzer. All right, we're going to do a Poodle. Waiting on 10. Sorry about anyone that thought I was going to get in a Schnauzer 2 there. Looks like the fill rate of that, it's high, but I don't know if it's going to fill like this Poodle will. So we'll do another one of these. Waiting on 10. I didn't want to rug pull too in case anyone saw it on Twitter and figured they wanted to do a Poodle draft. So trying to help everybody out with what they want to do as well. Early in the morning today, 6:49 a.m. local time. Most people on the West Coast probably sleeping. People on the East Coast might just now be waking up. Waiting on 9, 20-second Poodle, anyone that wants to join. And immediately till 8. We've actually got a starting to fill a little bit quicker. I think people are waking up and the best ball streets are rustling with action. It's first thing in the morning, so I'm one of the only psychos that's up at this time. That's okay, though. We're still going to get it in. I guess I could also do this. Let that load, go to this. Actually, I'm probably better doing that from my phone. I think that'd work better. Let's see. So do this. See how quick I can do this. All right, we are waiting on 5 more for a 20-second poodle. And I'm going to post this somewhere else. There we go. We'll see who is actually awake. Waiting on 4 more for a 20-second poodle. We're getting them in early on this Wednesday morning. Actually, a little bit of a recovery from the oppressive heat. So it's a nice break. That's for certain. We're waiting on 4. I'm going to go get a drink. I will be right back. Three more 20-second poodle. Wouldn't believe how you get cottonmouth just talking to yourself early in the morning. But we're here and getting them in for the people nice and early. Anyone that wants to put them in, anyone that wants to watch, we're going to try and be here for you around the clock. You can actually make that a little bit bigger, huh? Probably about what we're going to get there. Who we got in this room now? Anybody we know? I don't think there's anybody I know in here either. If there's anybody watching, if there's somebody you know, or if you're in here, let me know and I'll shout you out. 2-hole in this one, getting early picks. I'd rather be at the back half of the board, but nature of the beast. The RNG does what it does and you deal with it. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 badges in here. You get some of these random rooms, you never know what's going to happen. I'm not saying I know what I'm doing entirely yet, but Bijan at 1. I suppose we'll do that at 2. Seems good enough. I'll take Jamar Chase at 2. Chris Hall bumps Bijan up to 1. Barkley at 4 seems good. I just feel like early here, the wide receivers have to fall in here better, or the running backs have to fall in here and the wide receivers here, because of the way it falls back to you, you're going to end up with a running back more likely here. Just the way the rooms tend to draft, from what I've noticed. Gibbs at 7 feels pretty good. Puka bumped up to 6. Okay, so we're getting people doing some a little bit different stuff here. Derrick Henry at 10. Might be a little bit different of a room than the one we had last time. It just seems like zero running back is not going to be that viable of a strategy this year, based on the way all the running backs have been bumped up. It's hard to even, I mean, we don't know how the season's going to play out, but you feel like they fall off by the end of the 4th round, midway through the 5th. Nico Amra always feels like a good quality start. And we got the Ashton Genty A-Chan double running back start here from the 11 hole. Derrick Henry JT from the 10. Feels pretty good out of the 9 hole when you get Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. to fall to you. Is Trey McBride's ADP just going to be tied right here to the turn because of Chase and Higgins? That's what it feels like. He's never going to move. Jahmyr Gibbs, Josh Jacobs. He takes Bucky. I was thinking about doing that. Could do this a couple ways here. I think I'm going to keep taking Rashee Rice as he climbs. It's about as rich as I feel like getting on him right there. Because much further than that, you're kind of, this is really, I mean, I guess he probably does belong in that flat tier. Tyreek Hill, is he going to leave me? This is an interesting pick here, isn't it? Probably Trey if he makes it. I have one or the other. He takes Terry. I guess just to keep my quarterback options open there. Yeah, let's do that and let's force the room's hand a little bit. Not taking a running back though, but we also have 1, 2, 3 other people that haven't taken a running back yet. So I think that's viable. Trey McBride, 2 drafts in a row. Don't know how much I like that. Probably going to balance out that exposure some. Also took Rashee Rice 2 drafts in a row, but I was drafting in the same area. I suppose that is what anyone that's watching will want to see currently. B Dubs takes Josh Allen to pair with Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors. I mean, if you're going to do that, you don't have to worry about your quarterback for a while with those two. Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Lamar Jackson. Let's see how he comes back at wide receiver. Marvin Harrison drafter's right next door to me. T. Higgins drafter's in the 5 hole. Next one I got to worry about is Xavier Worthy. So basically on this side of the board, I'm going to be taking my guy at quarterback when I have to. And if I push T. Higgins or if I push Joe Burrow, this guy's most likely going to take him. This guy's 3 running backs already. Okay, so running backs are getting gobbled up something. J-Mo goes earlier there than he did in the last draft. Could I get a Xavier Worthy on the double stack here? Didn't make it back. That was wishful thinking. By ADP, we've got DK Metcalf, Devontae Smith. Could take Travis Hunter here. Could also try for the old Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts thing. Yeah, why not? I'm going to make him take the Hurts unstacked at one or the other. If not, then I just have my third wide receiver. He takes Chuba. Will he take Jalen Hurts? If not, then I'm probably going to take him here. Yeah, I think Hurts in the fifth. I got to do it, especially stacked. Waiting on running back again, but that's fine. So pick 50, we stacked Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts. We also have plenty of other quarterback options, and we'll send it back. Just going to do that every time I think I get the chance here because I feel like Hurts is a good pick in the fourth, and you get to stack him with his other receiver right before that. And then I'm open to whatever I need to do through this range. I'm going to let the T. Higgins drafter, if he wants to go by, I don't even know if I'll take Burrow there. If I have the quarterback that can outscore him already. Yeah, I'm not even going to take Burrow. I'll play with these other quarterbacks later. I just think it's too early. So I have to think about Kyler and Mahomes and decide when I'm going to jump them if I do. And they're all different quarterback builds there, or different bye weeks in the quarterbacks. So I'm not really worried about if I just take two of those, I can be done. We'll be back here at like 95. So yeah, Mahomes won't make it. Kyler might. So I'll have to think about if I'm going to do that. What else I could take in this range. Interesting thought process there, and when you actually have to take your stab at the second quarterback if you get Hurts in the fifth. A lot of the running backs gobbled up in this range. I saw that coming. Chris Godwin goes there. That was going to be my pick. I think Quinshawn there just to get a running back. Don't necessarily love that click, but the way the board was falling, I felt like I might want to get a running back soon the way this is going to fall off. What was he doing on the term? Jacoby Myers. And Ricky Pearsall. Don't know that I like Devo yet, but he is a bring back against Philly. So now I'm going to do it. Another different bye week in my wide receivers. You're hoping that in the Cliff Kingsbury offense, he's getting a lot more targets, design stuff, the Debo Samuel type stuff that's going to make him viable. Send in the quarterback. I don't think I'll see Mahomes back. Maybe I see Kyler and I'll be done at 2. And I think that's what I'll do there. Don't love the Debo click, but I'm way underweight on him. And maybe he's just because it's in that Philly game. That's probably the only reason I really did it there. But if he gets you through to that week, then maybe that's what you need. Rashee Rice probably not coming back. Or Mahomes probably not coming back. Where did the T. Higgins go? See, he'll probably take him here back at 92 if he gets there. Where was the Hollywood Brown drafter? Marv's right there, so he might snipe Kyler from me, which I understand. That's going to happen. And then I had Trey McBride and Marv there. Where was Hollywood Brown? Or Xavier Worthy, that's what I was thinking of. So I got the Xavier Worthy drafter, also with Matthew Golden. So if he pushes Mahomes there, then I can take him. If he doesn't, I could end up getting boxed out here real quick at quarterback and have to jump into one of the later games. It's fine, though, if we do. Got to take chances. Justin Fields, first pick in the 8th round. Mahomes goes right after him. Did he have anything? No, he just took Patrick Mahomes. Okay. So I'm probably going to get boxed out at this quarterback now. I'll have to start looking into these later games. Really didn't give myself a lot of options, did I? That's all right, though. That's what happens when you take Jalen Hurts early. You're making the bet on him being Jalen Hurts again, and the passing offense maybe being a little bit more than it was, and Saquon not being, well, Saquon because you passed on him at 2. Does Kyler make it back, or does the Marvin Harrison drafter take him one before me? That will be the question. He doesn't. He goes at Buka there. Now I wonder, can I push Kyler around the corner? Because let's try it. Let's get a little greedy there, right? Take Jordan Mason there for a second running back and see if we can get Kyler to come back. Just because I didn't like really much of the other running backs in that range, and I feel like outside of him, you're playing a guessing game on the Giants' running backs. Thanks for letting me have that. There we go. Jalen Hurts and Kyler. Bye week split up. We're probably done there. I've got Trey McBride. 4 wide receivers: Debo Samuel, Devontae Smith, Rashee Rice, Jamar Chase. Done at quarterback. It's just where I'm going to be in this draft. It's going to be a 2 quarterback build with the 2 that I have. Bye weeks are split up. Got them both stacked. We'll just fill out the rest of the roster now. Yeah, I don't hate that. A little bit light at the running back position, but we could fill this in how we need to along the way. I had the mic muted there for a second. Let's see. In this range, with what we know, I'm going to take Javonte here. Got him going to bring back with Debo and gives me my third running back. It's at ADP. I don't love the click, but we don't know how that Dallas backfield's shaking out yet. Could be Miles Sanders as well. J.K. Dobbins, I don't hate there. Thought about that pick too in the Kyler bring back. Probably Marvin Mims. I don't see anybody else in that range I like, and it's another way into that Kansas City Denver game. Took a couple of the same pieces on these last two teams, but I think that's also because of the range I was in as well. So for the audio listeners, 2351, Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, Quinshon Judkins, Jordan Mason, Javonte Williams. Running back room's kind of meh. Wide receivers are better, though. Jamar Chase, Rashee Rice, Devontae Smith, Debo Samuel, Marvin Mims, Trey McBride at wide receiver. I've got Jalen Hurts stacked with Devontae Smith, Kyler with Trey McBride. Bring back in the Arizona game of Jamar Chase. Bring back week 16 in the Philly game, Debo Samuel. That's where we're at currently. Those are all the picks I'll be looking at in the range coming back, if any of them make it. Start to think about, once you get into these middle rounds, bring back players in the games that you already have the bets made on and what actually fits into your build. Which there I could take my second tight end and be done. They're both different bye weeks. Pat Bryant I'd be taking later. Jaden Blue probably not going to take because I already took Javonte. Pat Bryant would be another good click later in that game. Thinking of ways I can get into that game. I think I have the quarterbacks that could score points enough to still win the contest outside of that. So I'm not worried about having the quarterbacks in that game. But if I can get the pieces of that game that shoots out, I suppose that's the way to play it. Two, three, five, one. I think in the event that he makes it back, Dallas Goedert's the click there would be right at ADP. Dalton Kincaid would also be a bring back if he made it. Won't be Dalton Kincaid now, will it? Yeah, I just feel like the way this year is and the way the ADPs are falling, I like the back half of the board better. I don't like the way teams build from like the 1 and 2 hole. Yeah, Goddard, if he's there, is the click. I do believe. Can I push him around the corner and take something else? Yeah, let's take Goddard there. Maybe Tillman comes back. I don't know that he's got a ton of wide receivers already. Also have Josh Palmer in that game. That's interesting. But I think there Tillman's the better click. So let's take him. 6 picks at ADP, but gives me my 6th wide receiver. 2 good spike week guys, you feel like. Also the second bet on the Cleveland offense. If I feel like getting into that game late somehow or tacking on a quarterback. Way late. The Browns offense is an interesting one because there's so many moving parts. You got new running backs, you got new quarterbacks, multiple, and you have the old dusty quarterback that seems to put up numbers that you kind of hope they're not going to shy away from for what we're doing here. 5 picks left. We are currently at a 2-3-6-2 build. Jamar Chase, Rashi Rice, Devontae Smith, Devo Samuel, Marvin Mims, Cedric Tillman, the wide receivers. Trey McBride, Dallas Goedert, wide receivers. Quinshon Judkins, Jordan Mason, Javonte Williams, running backs. Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray at quarterbacks. Hurts is stacked up with Goddard, Devontae Smith, Kyler Murray with Trey McBride, but we have Jamar Chase. Bring back in that game. That cleaned it up a little bit. Pat Bryant be another good bring back in that game later in the Denver and Kansas City game. Keenan Allen jumping up into the 14th round. Might be in the running back. This is probably going to be a 2 tight end, 2 quarterback build. I stacked them both up with their tight ends. Yeah, let's do that. We're just going to running back and wide receiver the rest of the way. Austin Eckler, I was thinking about being the click. Wow, he jumped up Pat Bryant quite a bit there. And Josh Palmer. Stealing him from my queue, guys. Not mad at you, though. Do we need a running back here more? Probably. I'd say we're at that point. Didn't like the way the overlay was doing me there. Yeah, Braylon Allen, I think there's probably the best of what I like in that range. Same bye week as Quinshon Judkins. I don't like that, but we should have. And we're probably still taking another running back in this range. Yeah, Jalen Wright's bye week 12. That misses all my bye weeks at running back. Also has correlation into the Cincy game. That works. Late running backs. We can play that game, though. Quinshon should have a role. Jordan Mason should have a role. Javonte, you think, has a role. TBD. Braylon Allen should have a role. I mean, they all should have roles, even though you picked them late. 2-5-6-2 attack on. Probably it's going to be another running back and 2 wide receivers, I think. Yeah, it's most likely what it'll be. We're at 5 running backs now. Don't feel great about them, but didn't start till late. Could tack on a 3rd tight end if it fell. I don't necessarily think I need to. Spending the capital of Trey McBride. Yeah, that works. Jarquez Hunter, one of the. I'm just basically looking now. Who do I like in this range? Michael Wilson, Shipley would both be correlated. Yo Shavasa bring back in the Arizona game. This is where the overlay tool really comes in handy, is at the end of drafts. When if you need to fill one position or another, and you can just look for correlation that way, you don't even have to think about it too much. These are all dollar bets down here anyhow, and you don't, I mean, basically once you're at round 14, these are all kind of the same bet down here. That's why you start seeing Dante Thornton's, Jalen McMillan down here. They're all kind of contingent plays. Will Shipley at ADP, I think, is the pick, not having Saquon there. Who do I like down here for wide receivers? Calvin Austin was a thought. This is an interesting spot here. What do I need? I think just based on where these running backs are here, I am going to take Jarquez Hunter and give me my 7th running back because I started at him so late. Then probably take a 7th wide receiver, tack on, and make it a 2-7-7-2. Not very common. But I feel like my running backs are so sketchy. I don't hate the 7th pick there. Just to try and fill it in. My wide receivers are good enough. I'm not too worried about it. And I'll tack on another one here late. But because I had 4 in the first 6 rounds, 3 in the first 5. And then the other ones were just kind of tacked on correlation. So in the event that we're going to take a wide receiver here, who should it be? If we go by ADP, Raymond McLeod, Elijah Moore, Trey Tucker, Jermaine Burton. What about Jalen Lane late? That's fun, right? Dorch the Torch. It's going to be a wide receiver click. It's just a matter of where. Wide receivers in this range that would be fun. That correlate is the thing. That's what we really want. Something. Let's find a win the contest pick. What about Elijah Moore? There's a late last round pick, and he's been getting a little bit of camp buzz. Just something a little bit different. These time backs contests probably won't be a lot of Elijah Moore, will there? Is there anything else down here I like better? Greg Dortch or Zay Jones? Probably not. Yeah, let's take Elijah Moore. Last pick, whatever, something different. Bring back in the Philly game. You've already made that bet. Need another wide receiver, 2-7-7-2. Jalen Hurts and Kyler Murray. Figure those two should be good enough to, you hope, cover any crazy performances from the pocket quarterbacks. Spray and pray approach at running back. Quinshon Judkins, Jordan Mason, Javonte Williams, Braylon Allen, Jalen Wright, Will Shipley, Jarquez Hunter. Wide receivers, Jamar Chase. We've got him in the bring back for Arizona. Rashee Rice. Devontae Smith stacked with Jalen Hurts. Deebo Samuel in week 16 bring back with Philly. Marvin Mims in the bring back with the Rashee Rice game. Cedric Tillman, just a bet on the Cleveland offense being undervalued along with Quinshon Judkins. Elijah Moore in the week 17 bring back with Philly. Trey McBride and Dallas Goedert both stacked up with their respective quarterbacks. Kind of early on quarterback capital there, but with those two, that's where you got to spend it, I guess. It's just some of these on these time box contests, I'll do something a little different than I normally do, just to see how it pans out. Won't do stuff like that as much in a BBM as much, but I'll play around in these lower contests. Completed drafts. 2 entries in the Poodle. There's the new one. Time. I guess since we're here already, let's go to the lobby and run one more. This should take us right up to Mr. Chad Candles, I think. What's a Schnauzer 2 at 94.4? All right, we'll run a Schnauzer 2. We're lying about the thumbnail today. At least the last minute waiting on 2. It's kind of what I was hoping is there would be one. I'll put that in the chat just in case anyone's watching. Waiting on two. Be the last one I do. It'll take us into the morning grind. Get your workday started off right with Mr. Chad Candles. Always a good listening experience in the morning. Chad's definitely pretty knowledgeable and keeps you entertained. A lot more of the chat going on, so he's got a lot more ammunition to play off of. Let's see what we got here. Anybody we know in here? Pasta's football. Could go for some pasta. I believe that's. I don't think there's anybody I know in here. I'm gonna blow this up, move it over here. I will pull that up for you guys over here as well to watch. Influencer 101 today. We taking Jamar Chase again? Sure, why not at the one? It's funny I mentioned that I don't like picking at the front half of the board, and I do 3 drafts all from the 4 hole or earlier. Funny how that pans out, isn't it? Schnauzer 2 for anyone that's joining. I did 2 of the Poodles that was on the thumbnail. Wasn't a whole lot of the community in here drafting with me, so I decided to switch it up and try to fill a Schnauzer 2, or try to get a Schnauzer 2 in before it's full, because it was at like 95%. Getting them in where I can today. 1, 2, 3, 4 badges in this room. A little bit different of a room. We'll see what sort of values we get to fall to us. Get the best ball overlay tool up there for you. You can see in how I've taken, you can see where the left side of the board, when I take Jamar Chase, I obviously need to update these exposures. I only had like 15 contests done when I did it, but I've been taking George Kittle a lot over there. Purdy when I take Kittle, Pearsall a lot, Shipley sometimes just because of that side of the board. What's nice about this, I'll show you as I start. I can add Jamar Chase, and then you can see, obviously, he's the one that's there right now. But as I start adding other players, you get to see what my combos are like. What percent of the time I take what players with the other respective players at that position. Bestballoverlay.com. Check it out. If you're doing any sort of volume drafting, well worth the investment. Brian Thomas at 7. Or at least I've seen him go up a little bit. Pasta's football. I really wish I would have known I'd been streaming. I'd have come up with a way better name for my underdog username. But alas, I made that decision after the fact. Let's get Jamar Chase off of there right now. Put that back down there. I can actually. Oh, I can't quite move it out of the way. I thought I'd be able to move it all the way off the screen for you guys. Try and keep it down there at the bottom. That's better. Not that there's much of a viewing audience right now, but trying to keep it in line for when there is. Ladd McConkey bumped up here with Puka. This is why I like the back half of the draft, because you can get some of these unique combos. Not necessarily unique, but you can get what feels like 2 first-round picks out of a late first-round pick. Jamar Chase at the 1. We'll be waiting a second for this to get back here. What does the Gibbs drafter do is the question. A.J. Brown. That's who I thought he might take there. Will I get a Jamar Chase, Brock Bowers team? I doubt it. It'd be fun. Nope, that was the end of that. Seems like that's as far as he falls is where the CD Lamb drafter usually is. Rashi Rice at 21, so I think my logic was right there. Let's take Josh Jacobs with one pick. Now, question: I don't think I want to take Trey McBride here. Let's take Adams. Josh Jacobs for one. Should I take Adams for the other one? By ADP, I should take Trey McBride. I like pulling up Devontae Adams there. Let's do something different here and take Marv just because I'm way below exposure on him. Build it different. We'll take Marv there. Now we're doing the same thing here with these two guys, so this is going to be interesting. I let him have his combo with Bijan. I took it with Josh Jacobs, but I have Chase and he has T. Higgins. Just doing a little bit different this time. I don't think that building them all out with Trey McBride from the corner is the way to. Pull up Marv a little bit. Basically, you flip flop Trey McBride and Marv. Thing is, now if I push T. Higgins, I know that he's not coming back at 72 because this guy's going to take him at 71. I'm kind of wondering if we should just be taking Tyreek right here, not ever letting him get past the middle of the second. I had one time where I got JSN to fall back here and paired him up with Tet for the week 17 matchup. I think it was only one time out of all the drafts I've done that happened. Josh Allen, the first elite quarterback off the turn. Off at the turn, I guess is the correct pronunciation of what I'm trying to say. Amon Nico Mike Evans is a nice start. James Cook to get a running back. Might be early on him, but he does fall to the back end of this fourth round. Tet McMillan at 40. A little bit of a slide there on Lamar, huh? Almost like you heard me to match him up with Derrick Henry. Does the Terry drafter get Jaden to come all the way back to him at 45 is the question. You go through some water quick when you're on the mic talking to yourself early in the morning. He's gonna try the Devontae Smith, AJ Brown double stack. I don't think I'm gonna fight you on that, bro. He gets his Jaden Daniels. Over here in this corner is where the board can get a little interesting sometimes. This is with the drafter I kind of got to watch because we're playing in the same game here. He goes Amari and Hampton. I take Travis Hunter with one of them. I'm going to think about the second pick. I just feel Kittle's such a good pick there. Sending Burrow down. It's your deal, dude. You get to do what you want with him. He pushes him there, so we'll see what happens here with Joe Burrow. If he comes back, I'll take him, obviously, but I think he's going to go with 71. Josh Jacobs is the hero running back. Bumped up my Marv a little bit, took everybody else right at ADP. I'm not doing anything crazy right now. Letting the room come to me. Quarterbacks that I have, obviously, Burrow, if he's there, which I don't think he will be. Then Kyler. Trevor Lawrence. And Purdy. I don't mind starting up the quarterbacks and leaving them in the queue just so I know about where they fall in ADP range. So I know, especially when I'm on the turn, when I have to make my stand. We can go back to the board for the viewing audience. I thought about Pickens there. The guy gets the Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown double with Jahmyr Gibbs. Devontae Adams in there seems pretty good. I just wonder if when you get to the playoff weeks, you're hoping they ping pong, but when you get to the championship week, is that bet too thin? That's always my thought. It might not be, and they could ping pong. I just always wonder if one or the other's right. But you are making a bet on the offense and just that the passing volume increases as a whole after last year. I understand the bet in its entirety. Oh, and if you go back to this, like for instance, you can see with Jamar Chase and Marv, don't have that. So it's a unique combo in the post draft tournaments. It's kind of why I did that. That right there is where the best ball overlay tool will come in handy. At least get some of your combos that might be right in front of you that you just don't take as often. Refresh that for you guys. Does Burrow make it all the way back, and does this guy take him? Is the question. I don't hate Laporta there, probably a bit early. Burrow goes here unstacked to this guy. Okay. Guess we're done playing that game. What else do we want to get into now? Maybe with Josh Jacobs, George Pickens. I like Golden there, and I'm in that game already. Gonna take Golden with the first pick. I want to think about the second one. Could also take Pearsall there, which is who I was thinking about. I'm going to take Caleb Johnson. Don't necessarily love that click, but they were looking at his over-under on rushing yards yesterday, and he actually has a higher over-under than like Travion Henderson, even though I think he'll be getting more of the passing work. More of an exposure play right there, but I wanted another running back that I feel like will get some volume there. And I'm not playing the quarterback. And that gives me another way late out at quarterback if I want to play that game. I think more than likely, though, I will be into this. Maybe Tucker Craft. And we know they both go in this range. So we'll see if Kyler makes it back. It's going to be right after it passed ADP. This guy needs a quarterback still, so I'm thinking he'll take him. That's why I might end up with Brock Purdy. The only one I don't really want to do there is Brock Purdy and Trevor Lawrence because of the same bye week. Brock Purdy, Jordan Love's viable. Kyler works with them but I don't think he'll make it. A little bit of a different build there. Not something I normally do. I like Kittle from this side of the board. Don't like not having Jamar Chase stacked with Joe Burrow, but can't do about what the room does to you. Dale Backus, thanks for joining me this morning. Appreciate you coming out, sir. Run a 20-second schnauzer. I did 2 of the poodles before this, and I was waiting to see what would fill. I decided to run a schnauzer just because it was at like 94% full. And after this, I think I'll be getting off here because Chad Candles will be coming on there shortly after. So I figured I could fill up the morning with a few of the hours at daybreak and send everyone off on their way to the rest of the best ball streamers. A little different thing early in the morning, not so many people watching, but I'm getting them in either way. And I'm sure eventually there will be the crowd that's here. Little by little, we'll get there. Did the Patrick Mahomes? No, he took Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. Okay, so quarterbacks are getting gobbled up a little bit. So always what you got to watch out for in these rooms because people will be auto drafting. There'll be a lot of badgeless drafters doing weird stuff. Hell, even I'll do some weird stuff. Currently at a 0-2-4-1. Josh Jacobs, Caleb Johnson, Jamar Chase, Marvin Harrison, Travis Hunter, Matthew Golden, George Kittle. Seeing if Kyler Murray's going to make it back to the turn here, but I'm guessing he won't because the Trey McBride drafter is right here, and I flip-flopped him and Marv to try and take Marv and see if I could get Kyler to come back. Don't know that it's happening, though. He does take Kyler Murray there. So I think I have enough wide receivers early where I'm not worried about it. I'm going to take Purdy and Ayuk and make a bet on the San Fran offense being good. I've got 5 wide receivers through the top 100. Also got Kittle in there, and I have Brock Purdy stacked with Ayuk. I know we've got the training camp news. We're worried about him. Dale, you hit some poodles last night. I've only got 2 of them in. I'm going to try and get some more in today. I did this with Ayuk just because I feel like I already have enough wide receiver firepower early in the season. And by the time he gets there, hopefully this just pushes the team over the top. So I've got the San Fran game stacked out for week 17 against Chicago. We'll see if Jordan Love makes it back. I wouldn't hate that with Matthew Golden. That would be right at about ADP on the turn there, and I could take him with Tucker Craft and have a tight end as well. If not, I also have Trevor Lawrence later to stack with Travis Hunter. Kind of where my thought process is currently. Ayuk's probably going to fall more, but I don't know how much more he'll fall. And with taking Purdy there, and I already have Kittle. I feel like that's a good bet there. He could honestly fall, like if he's going to miss his first 4 games, might fall another round even to down here. But having the bet on the offense already, I feel like I'm just going to lock that up there. And I got him, what was it? A round after ADP already with the fall. I'm cool with that. Good enough for me. Interesting to have Brock Purdy. I do that a lot with Kittle over here and try and push Burrow to see if I get him back with Chase. And when he doesn't, I end up falling into Kittle and Purdy a lot, it feels like. Just the nature of pushing Burrow because you get random people that just will take him unstacked, like happened over here. Oh, he did have Chase Brown at least. I guess so that's better. It's frustrating when you see him have no pieces of the Cincy offense and just taking on Stack Burrow. I didn't think he was going to come back because this guy and I were both playing in the Cincy game here with the Arizona game here. So I figured one or the other was going to happen here. But then this guy took Kyler here and this guy took on Stack Burrow and rained on both of our parades. So nobody got what they wanted. Interesting that Tyrone Tracy and Cam Scadabow's ADPs seem to just be anchored to each other. Neither one of them really moves up. We're probably going to take our second quarterback at this turn coming up just because I don't have a lot of options later. It would be a little bit of a reach on Lawrence. You'd actually be pulling him up to the opposite side of the board, but I do have Travis Hunter. He usually falls over here, which where's the Brian Thomas drafter? He just took Dak. So I should be able to get Trevor Lawrence if I want him. If I can take Kraft and Love, I think I'll do that here. I don't know. Do I take Trevor? That's an interesting thing, huh? I think I take Love just because I have Jacobs and I have a whole bet on the Green Bay offense then. Let's think about this objectively. Yeah, I think those are probably the picks there. I'm going to do that again. I just like the bet on the Green Bay offense there. 3 pieces of it: Matthew Golden, Tucker Kraft, Josh Jacobs, all stacked up. Jordan Love on the offense. Brock Purdy with Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle. 2252. I feel like with where ADPs fell, I bumped Jordan Love up a little bit because he pairs with Jaden Reed sometimes, but I also put Tucker Kraft back here to get my tight end and started a tight end run right there. Trevor Lawrence makes it back. I'd probably take him, but I don't think he'll make it all the way back. Feel like that could be up a little bit more. Maybe there. That's better. Probably going to be hitting some running backs in this range coming back. I feel good about everything else. So, yeah, we'll be hitting some running backs coming back through and correlated plays here. I like the way this team's built already. Ayuk is probably the biggest question mark, but the rest of it you feel pretty good about. Running backs will definitely be what we're addressing on this next turn, I think, especially since seeing that the room is already at Tajay Spears and Ramondre Stevenson. But in order to build what I was going to do, I had to sacrifice some running back. Also took Josh Jacobs in the second round, so you're kind of making a bigger bet on him up there. So let's see in this range. Obviously Garendo because the correlated bet if he makes it back. Let's see where Trevor. I just want to see when he comes off the board. I'll leave him in there. As far as the running backs, I like coming back. Trey Benson obviously fits the mold for the Cincy game. I hate when you load the queue up like that and it starts filling the overlay up with multiple bye weeks. I think Trey Benson and Isaac Garendo both here if they come back correlation wise. That was a good run at tight ends. I'm kind of glad I grabbed Tucker Kraft when I did. Yeah, not a lot of running backs went since then, so that's good for me. I think if I be able to pick what I want here. Did Trevor Lawrence still not? Oh, that's right. The Brian Thomas drafters. He didn't take him there. He's going to try and push him all the way back. I might take him for my third. It's going to be hard to not take him, right? I think in order to stack that there, that's probably correct. But then which running back do I want? There's an interesting thought there too, huh? I'm thinking it's Trey Benson for the bring back just because I already have enough of the bet in the offense there. So I'm going to do that. 3-3-5-2. I've got all my quarterbacks stacked up. Jordan Love with Josh Jacobs, Matthew Golden and Tucker Kraft, Brock Purdy with Ayuk and Kittle, Trevor Lawrence with Travis Hunter. I also have bringbacks in that Indy game. That's why I kind of wanted to do that with Travis. It's weird there to have three quarterbacks, but where they fell, they were all in the window. I reached up on Brock Purdy because I wanted to stack him with Ayuk and Kittle. Reached up on Love because, I mean, not like egregious reaches, like 7 picks on each of them, but just to complete the stacks. And then Lawrence, 11 picks after ADP to stack with Travis Hunter. 3-3-5-2, a little bit behind at wide receiver, but I also spent good capital early at wide receiver. Could end up being a 6 wide receiver build. Possibly 7 with the Ayuk training camp news if he starts slow. But I still think even with him starting slow, I've got enough firepower there to advance me into some money weeks. Now I have Indy bringbacks too in the Trevor Lawrence game, which is kind of interesting. I guess the way to do that is all of those are interesting down here. Quarterback button's off for sure. Sorry about anyone watching. I try to keep the board up for you. Sometimes when I'm thinking about what I'm going to do next, I'll get away from it. I don't know that I need a third tight end in this build, really. I've got Kittle. No, I mean, I've got Kittle and Tucker Kraft. I feel plenty good about that. If anything, it'll be a tight end in the last round to tack on, but I don't even think I want one. Some good indie bringbacks there for that Jacksonville game. That was the other reason I wanted to get Trevor Lawrence there. Good spike week potential guys. Running backs are getting thin when you see Braylon Allen go. You know that you're at the end of who you feel like has a role. I mean, Tank Bigsby, if he falls back that far after ADP, even though you're worried about the Jacksonville RB room. There are also the other guys in here that just have good contingent roles, too. Tyler Algier also has. Of course, he'd go, wouldn't he? That's what I was thinking right there because he had to bring back for Arizona. I mean, Tank Bigsby is stacked. That's probably the correct pick there, especially after ADP because we don't know how that room will go just yet. Yeah, I think those are the two picks there, right? Let's do that. Tank Bigsby for the correlation, Alec Pierce for the bring back, and our Spike Week guy. So now we're at 3-4-6-2. Brock Purdy, Jordan Love, Trevor Lawrence. Jordan Love with Josh Jacobs, Trevor Lawrence with Tank Bigsby, and Travis Hunter. Brock Purdy stacked with Kittle and Ayuk. Also got Tucker Kraft with Jordan Love. Forgot about that. 3-4-6-2. We've got 3 picks left in the draft. Hope everyone's enjoying this early morning drafting we've got going on here. Appreciate everyone coming out. Do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to get up on these early morning drafts with me. I'll try and post them more ahead of time and give you guys a warning. It was a little impromptu this morning. I think I'll start posting them the night before and then going live first thing when I wake up in the morning. That seems like a fun way to do it. And that way I'm letting everyone else stay in their respective time slots. Seems like we could get a good day round summer going of best ball drafting where whenever anybody's got some openings in a contest they want to fill, they can jump in with someone on stream and do it. It was kind of my motive when I set up the channel. I know other people are doing their own thing, you know. I'm at kind of free will over here. I can do what I want and we'll grow it up as it grows naturally. That's kind of what I'm thinking we'll do here. Hunter Henry and DeMar, who had Drake May? You'd think one of them had Drake May in here. No, the Drake May drafter's over here. Interesting. 3-4-6-2 with the running backs kind of later. I've got good capital at wide receiver early. Could tack on a third tight end. It could be a 3-5-7-2 or 3-5-7-3 when it's all said and done. I feel good about the 2 tight ends. If DJ Giddens makes it back, he would also be another bring back in that game. I feel like that would be a good pick there at 190. Also a good contingent running back. We'll see if he slides back there. Also have A.D. Mitchell later. Also have Diami Brown. That's interesting. That's another way into the Trevor Lawrence. I'd probably do that. Actually, I think those would be the picks if they're there. I don't know if there's anybody else in this range that I like. I think that would be the click. Diami Brown goes there, so I can't do that. I think could just take both those bringbacks. I think with ADP here, those are probably the correct clicks. I'm going to do it. Another bringback in the. I've got both of the big play wide receivers for a bringback in the Jacksonville game, and they're both week 16 correlated with San Fran as well. So I've got 3 different ways into that game for week 16 and 17. 3572 will tack on it could be any of the 3 non-quarterback positions here at the last one, and I'd feel fine about it. I think we're all right where we're at team build wise. And then it's just, does it get there? Do we have enough running back firepower to get there? Josh Jacobs helps. Caleb Johnson should get enough. So if we're just getting floor plays out of running back, Chase, Harrison, Hunter, Golden, Ayuk, you feel like you should get enough from your wide receivers. Interesting enough team, right? If anybody noticed anything, or if you think when I was on a click and I made a decision that could have been something different, let me know. I'm always open to the criticism, constructive criticism, whatever it be. You can tell me I'm an idiot too, and I'm receptive to that. I just felt that I didn't need a tight end any sort of soon with the 2 I had, and this can be a luxury pick with the last one. Anthony Richardson just staring me down like you're supposed to take him. I'm not taking a 4th quarterback. I think this is probably a running back. Just looking at where it is. Down here, who's interesting? Brashard Smith, Jarquez Hunter. I mean, if we're just taking dart throws at running back, because I think that's what you need there. I like both of those guys. We'll see if either of them make it back. If not, I'll probably find another running back. Unless there's something else that correlates. I didn't see. Well, Quentin Allen's kind of fun, right? Since we don't know anything. Well, I already took Tanks Bigsby. I don't want to do that. Kyle Monangai, there's one. Because that gets us into that game multiple weeks. And if you're not going to get Roshan, if you're not going to end up with Roshan or DeAndre Swift, which I guess the way to look that up is DeAndre Swift 75, Roshan 162. I think if you're going to take a late flyer and you already have both of those games, probably not the worst way to do it. That's the stuff right here where I feel like best ball overlay can just be clutch. When all these guys are kind of the same bet, and then that one kind of stands out where you already have both game correlations there. And if not, then I'll just take it. I could also take Jordan James. It's one of those two. I think just based the way it's built, I'm going to take Monangai there because I have both games there. So was that Schnauzer 2? Yeah. Schnauzer 2. I always do it with the time it ended. So to recap the team for the audio listeners. Brock Purdy. Jordan Love, Trevor Lawrence. Josh Jacobs, Caleb Johnson, Trey Benson, Tank Bigsby. DJ Giddens, Kyle Monangai. Jamar Chase, Marvin Harrison, Travis Hunter, Matthew Golden, Brandon Ayuk, Alec Pierce, Adonai Mitchell, George Kittle, and Tucker Kraft. We've got Brock Purdy stacked up with Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle, Jordan Love with Josh Jacobs, Matthew Golden, Tucker Kraft, Trevor Lawrence with Tank Bigsby, and Travis Hunter. Bringbacks in that game, Alec Pierce and Adonai Mitchell. So if that game's a shootout and it's week 17, I have a good shot to hitting some spike weeks and hopefully cashing out a little bit. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, to this daybreak edition of Best Ball on Call. I'm your host, Anthony. This has been a early morning, eye-opening experience. I'm going to try and start to post these the night before, give people more of a warning for what we're getting into here early in the morning. Give more people a chance to, if they want to wake up in the morning, draft with me, or just view if that's their speed. Once again, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Appreciate you joining me drafting today. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Helps me out tremendously. And we will catch you soon drafting in these best ball streets.